don't know if I'm live on Facebook. Am I live? I think I'm live on Facebook. Anyways, hello, everyone. Happy, beautiful day, everybody. So, as you can tell from my from the title of this video, it is going to be about purpose versus oh, now I'm live on Facebook. Hello, everybody. For those of you who don't know, my name is Xavier Prelo, and I am here to inspire you to live out your purpose. So, a couple weeks ago, I went live and I was talking about what is your contribution to the world. And in that video, I mentioned passion versus purpose. So I said that I would come back live and kind of talk about the two to, again, inspire you to live out your purpose. I do have some notes because I will go off track. So with your contribution to the world, I was just talking about how, like, I personally believe that everybody has a contribution to the world. Like, I feel like we are all put on this earth at this time, in this moment, in this life, in this world, to give something to the world, to do something for the world, and only each individual person can do that thing. So in that, a lot of people always talking about your why versus your passion. And so I wanted to kind of go over a little bit on my take on it. So like I said, I do have some notes, and yeah. So your purpose. So I did write down like the definition. So your purpose is pretty much the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. And from doing my little bit of research, I found that your purpose and your why are kind of interchangeable, meaning so the definition for why, because a lot of people say, oh, this is my why, and like, if you're like kind of new to like that language, you're like, what are you talking about? What do you mean your why? Like, so the definition for why is for what reason, cause, or purpose. So whenever somebody says, oh, this is my purpose, they're talking about something that's bigger than them. They found that one thing in life that they feel like has nothing to do with them. It's what they do for others. It's their contribution back to the world. It has nothing to do with them. Then when you start talking about your passion, the definition for passion is any powerful or compelling emotion or feeling, I can't read my handwriting, as love or hate. It's a strong emotion. So whenever you talk about your passion, it's more about you and what you love to do. And so when your passion is, like I said, it can be, you can have a strong, compelling emotion or passion about something that's not positive. So that was another thing that I picked up. But all in all, your purpose is bigger than you, and your passion is more so about you. So when you're like trying to figure out what you're trying to do in life, your purpose is something that you feel like it's for other people, but your passion is something that you enjoy doing or you love doing. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, y'all definitely drop a thumbs up so I can know that y'all understanding me, because I kind of feel like I was rambling and rushing through that. But if you definitely understand what I just said, definitely drop a thumbs up. Your passion versus your purpose. So I do want to go a little bit more in depth about that. Your passion is what excites you. It's what you want, which is what I just said, and it's what pleases you. All right. But when you follow just your passion, it's like, okay. So whenever you follow your passion, pretty much when people say, oh, I'm following my passion, this is my passion, it's almost like saying, this is what the world can do for me. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't want to give no example because I don't want to confuse y'all. But when you're following your passion, it's more so mainly about you. Like, what can the world give to me? But when you're following your purpose, it's more so what can you give to the world? Like, what you're naturally good at, what can you do for the world? Are y'all beginning to understand the difference? So going back to my post, whenever I said, whenever I had got inspired by that meme, and it was like, what is your contribution to the world? Pretty much we're all supposed to do what contributes to the world and others, right? Because if you live in a life of like selfishness and you just out here, it's like I feel like you're always just going to be going around in circles, not really knowing, because at the end of the day, we're all interconnected and we're all here to contribute and help the world and help society and help each other. So you want to more so follow your purpose, and in your purpose, find your passion. So you can figure out, that your reason for living and why you're here. Okay. And then once you find your purpose, it's what's kind of already in you, and it's what impacts others and fills you up. And I just pretty much said that. And then you choose your passion through being creative, without any purpose. If you live a life with no purpose but only passion, you'll do okay. You'll live like a mediocre life, and you'll like do good enough. Like you'll just be living. Like, well, I wouldn't even say you'll be existing. This is my take. I feel like if you're living a life with only passion but no real purpose, you'll do okay. You'll be decent at work. You'll be existing, and everything will be just like okay and mediocre. But if you live a life with a strong sense of purpose and you're passionate about it, that's whenever you find your contribution to the world. And then that's also when you begin to thrive at life. Like you're happy, like you feel fulfilled. Because again, when I was talking about what is your contribution to the world, if you don't really know, I'm kind of just like doing a sequel. I'm not like going to explain everything I talked about in the other video. But if you're literally like living out your purpose, and you find your contribution to the world, like you're thriving, you're excited, energetic, and happy, and you actually feel like you're living life, and you'll pay attention. You'll be like, paying attention to detail, and you'll also work and perform better. And you'll actually feel like dedicated and like you're doing something like purposeful, and you actually feel alive and awake. So again, when you're living your purpose, it is to help, serve, and give to others, or it's about others. And when your purpose is clear, life just makes sense. So, and then also things just begin to fall in place. And then one thing that I realized, even on my journey in life, you realize like, oh, like all this stuff that has been happening, all the things that I've been through in life, all the whispers begin to make sense, and you begin to pay attention, and all those things, you just realize like, oh, this is why life is the way life is. Like, this is why things happen. This is why I'm always like, are kind of in these situations. This is why like I'm always kind of in around these people. So yeah. Yeah, I got to keep my notes because I'm telling you, I would go on a tangent. So what was that last one? So it says, things will fall in place, and all those whispers begin to make sense. And you realize everything up until your realization of your purpose has led you to that moment. And you realize you've always known and always were ready and prepared to live out your purpose. So I know a lot of times in life, we feel like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I'm kind of just mediocre. Like I don't, I'm just kind of going with the flow. But we all have a purpose, and we all know what that purpose is. It's just that we are not paying attention or taking a step further. We don't believe, and we're not confident in what our purpose is. So we've let like outside factors and people around us and just situations around us not kind of like take us away from our authentic selves. So when you're in alignment and going on your path with your purpose, you literally are living in alignment. Does that make sense? So and that's just what I was coming to. So how to know if you're on the right track. So honestly, I don't really know if there's an exact answer to be like, oh, if you do A, B, C, D, then you'll find out your purpose in life. But what I personally believe, I definitely believe that life is a spiritual journey, right? And I feel like, I know a lot of people have a lot of different beliefs and faiths, but I feel like you all have some type of spirituality. And I'm not like putting you in a category, but we all have some type of spirituality. Like, at least that's what I believe. And so I would just highly suggest, like, if you're kind of trying to figure out like, okay, so what's my purpose? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what life is about. And you want to know, I would literally just tell you to resort to your spirituality and ask your higher power. Like, and it can come in different forms. However you communicate to your infinite intelligence, your God, your throughout your religious or whatever your spirituality is, whatever your connection is to your higher source, I would just suggest that you resort to praying and meditating and connecting with your higher source to help you figure out, and just ask like, hey, am I on the right track? And I guarantee you, and ask like, hey, like send me signs. So I don't know how you communicate with your higher source, but I'm like real raw with my higher power. So literally just ask and say, hey, send me a sign. Like, am I on the right track? Is this my purpose? And like, be very specific, so that way you don't have to guess. Like, if you say, hey, like, let this happen at this time, and it happens or it don't. I mean, also follow your intuition as well, because again, like, I personally believe our purpose is already inside of us. We just have to like listen to it and have faith and believe it, and just walk it. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, again, nobody can do our contribution. Nobody can give our contribution. We're all like individuals who can do that, and who were made to only communicate and express that contribution back to the world. So purpose keeps us pushing and going, because passion can waver. Again, passion is based off the definition. Passion is ultimately just a very strong and compelling emotion, right? And sometimes we're really excited about something, and some days we may not be. So when you're just passionate about something, that can waver. So if you're only living your life based off your passion, at the end of the day, like when you look at the big picture of things, you may or may not be like consistent, or you may not be living out your full potential. You may be just living an okay, this is enough type life, because you're only going off of emotion versus your purpose or your reason why. So that's why I suggest going after your purpose over your passion. You make I cannot read my handwriting. You make be passionate. Oh, and I was saying was because pretty much what I said, because you may feel like you're passionate about something, but then after you get something or you're in something, you're like, oh man, I thought I was crazy about this. I thought I was gung ho. I thought that this is what my life was really about, but really it was just the passion. And you feel like, okay, maybe I'm not passionate about that at all. So again, to wrap it up, guys, purpose is about others. So when life happens, you have a reason to keep going, because again, it's usually easier for us as human beings. And I know, like, just for myself and just like people in general, just paying attention to other people, when we okay, let me just read this. It's usually easier for us to do and achieve things when it's for others, because most of the time we don't, I cannot read my handwriting. Most of the time most of the time we put ourselves last, and we don't hold ourselves accountable for ourselves. So that's why it's better to go off of purpose. Another reason why I would suggest going off of purpose is because it's normally tied to something or a person, and you're more compelled to achieving it because it's not about yourself. Because in life, what I've noticed is most people will like not hold themselves accountable, or not do, they won't go hard for themselves like they will for somebody else. That's why a lot of times when you hear like successful people talking, they're like, oh, this is for my family, this is for my kids, this is for my, or anybody, this is for my, somebody who passed away. They put it on somebody else because they feel like, if it's on somebody else, they're more compelled to do it, versus like, oh, I'm going to do this for me. And some people just that good, and they can. So I hope that was very, very helpful. I hope you have a better clarification of, your purpose versus your passion. And I'm very curious to know, what your purpose or passion is. So definitely drop it in the comments below, and I will talk to y'all soon. Have a great day.